Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Bahasham Rucha Kodash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And today we're going to go into Jeremiah, the 32nd chapter. And in this chapter, it's basically in the middle of the siege, right? When the Nebuchadnezzar had commanded to lay siege against Jerusalem at the rebellion of Zedekiah. Right, so that's the setting of this chapter here. So this is Jeremiah 32:1. The word that came to Jeremiah from the Lord Yahweh in the 10th year of Zedekiah, king of Judah, which was the 18th year of Nebuchadnezzar. Now, when you look at Zedekiah's reign, right, starting in 597, the 10th year would be 587 BC, right, 1 year before he was cooked. So the siege started 2 years before the end of his reign, right, in 588. Give or take. And that would be in his 9th year of his reign. And Nebuchadnezzar, having started in 605 BC, that would also line up with his 18th year being 587 BC. So during this time, right, in the 10th year, at this point, the siege has already commenced. It says, "For then the king of Babylon's army besieged Jerusalem, and Jeremiah the prophet was shut up in the court of the prison, which was in the king of Judah's house." So Jeremiah was basically under arrest, right? Under house arrest, sort of, so to speak, but in the court of the prison, which when you look it up, it says the court of the prison refers to a specific area within the royal palace complex in ancient Jerusalem where the prophet Jeremiah was confined. It was a type of court of the guard where prisoners were held, but it was less severe than a dungeon, allowing for some limited mobility, visitors, and even businesses or business transactions, as Jeremiah was allowed to receive visitors and purchase a field while in this area. Verse 3, "For Zedekiah, king of Judah, had shut him up." So he basically had him arrested, saying, "Wherefore dost thou prophesy and say, Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, Behold, I will give this city into the hand of the king of Babylon, and he shall take it." Zedekiah was mad because he's saying, "Why are you out here basically saying the Lord is going to, give this city into the hands of the king of Babylon?" And then on top of that, right, "And Zedekiah, king of Judah, shall not escape out of the hand of the Chaldeans." Now, and then on top of that, you said the Lord saying that I'm not going to make it. They're going to catch me too. So he was upset at hearing that, right? "But shall surely be delivered into the hand of the king of Babylon, and shall speak with him mouth to mouth, and his eyes shall behold his eyes." So Zedekiah really didn't like to hear that because he had rebelled. So, this probably made his heart drop to his ass hearing Jeremiah say that. Hence, he had him arrested. "And he shall lead Zedekiah to Babylon, and there shall he be until I visit him, saith the Lord Yahweh. Though ye fight with the Chaldeans, ye shall not prosper." So he's saying, you speaking against us, talking about in the name of the Lord. "And Jeremiah said, The word of the Lord Yahweh came unto me, saying, Behold, Hanameel, the son of Shallum, thine uncle, shall come unto thee, saying, Buy thee my field that is in Anathoth," which was the hometown of Jeremiah, "in Benjamin. For the for the right of redemption is thine to buy it," meaning by inheritance, so to speak. Like, you have the right, being my kinsfolk, to buy this land before I, open it up to sell it to anybody else. And the Lord told Jeremiah that I believe it's his cousin. Yeah, his cousin Hanameel would come and offer it to him. "So Hanameel, mine uncle's son, came to me in the court of the prison according to the word of the Lord Yahweh, and said unto me, Buy my field, I pray thee, that is in Anathoth, which is in the country of Benjamin. For the right of inheritance is thine, and the redemption is thine. Buy it for thyself." So now it could be that Hanameel might have needed the money, right? Seeing what was going on with the siege and everything, prices of things are going up with whatever little was left. So maybe he needed the money and he was like pressed for it or something, But in any case, he basically asked Jeremiah to buy it. The Lord put the spirit upon him to actually come and do that. Then I knew that this was the word of the Lord Yahweh. because the Lord showed him this would happen, and then that's exactly what ended up happening. So he knew, okay, the Lord is trying to show me something, right? So let me go ahead and buy it. And I bought the field of Hanameel, my uncle's son, that was in Anathoth, and weighed him the money, 17 shekels of silver. And I subscribed the evidence, meaning when you subscribe it, meaning it was written down, and sealed it, and took witnesses, and weighed him the money in the balances. So they made a transaction, right? Public, everybody could see it. He had witnesses that say, okay, you purchased this land from such and such. This is the price. This is, the deal. So I took the evidence of the purchase, like the receipt, both that which was sealed according to the law and custom, and that which was open. And in the NLT it says here, then I took the sealed deed and the unsealed copy of the deed, which contained the terms and conditions of the purchase. And I gave the evidence and I gave the evidence of the purchase unto Baruch, the son of Neriah, the son of Maaseiah, in the sight of Hanameel, mine uncle's son, and I believe this is the priest, the scribe Baruch, who is the author of in the book of Baruch, that Baruch, in the sight of Hanameel, mine uncle's son, and in the presence of the witnesses that subscribed the book of the purchase, before all the Jews that sat in the court of the prison. So Jeremiah basically, in the presence of everybody, gave the evidence, gave the receipts and everything to Baruch. So everybody saw that happen. And more than likely because of what he was about to ask Baruch to do, which Jeremiah physically couldn't because he was in the court of the prison. And I charged Baruch before them, saying, thus saith the Lord Yahweh of hosts, the God of Israel, take these evidences, this evidence of the purchase, both which is sealed, and this evidence which is open, and put them in an earthen vessel, so like a clay vase, that it may continue many days. So one way to preserve it would be like to put it in something like that and enclose it. Like I think at sea, right? They could do stuff like that where you write a message in paper, put it in like a bottle, and then just close the bottle, and then just like either bury it in the ground or like throw it onto the water somewhere, something along those lines. But it was a means of preservation. For thus saith the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, houses and fields and vineyards shall be possessed again in this land. So that was the symbolism behind why the Lord told Jeremiah, even at the brink of the Babylonians basically taking over, right in the middle of the siege, he had Jeremiah purchase this land because it would symbolize that even though Jerusalem, or the land you're in, is about to be taken over and given to another, in the future, people would still be able to come and purchase and buy and sell land, and dwell in this same land here. Verse 16. Now when I delivered the evidence of the purchase unto Baruch, the son of Neriah, I prayed unto the Lord Yahweh, saying, Ah, Lord God, behold, thou hast made the heaven and the earth by thy great power and stretched out arm, and there is nothing too hard for thee. Thou shewest loving kindness unto thousands, and recompensest the iniquity of the fathers in the bosom of their children after them. Right? So meaning like the Lord, being as powerful as he is, right, with his great power, can be merciful as he has, as it says, unto thousands. And also he can recompense iniquity, right, of the fathers in the bosom of their children after them. So one example is was a Shemaiah that we read a couple of chapters ago, how the Lord said he wouldn't have any of his to dwell amongst his people. So in that case, the Lord basically stopped his lineage. Like he cut him off, and his if he had any offspring, them. Okay, and this is basically like I can't even find the word for it, but it's basically like rather than a soul judgment, it's like a judgment on a line or on a family of people. The great and mighty God, the Lord Yahweh of hosts, is his name. So Jeremiah is, as always, exalting the Lord in that this is his power, this is his might, right? He can do these things. Great in counsel and mighty in work, for thine eyes are open upon all the ways of the sons of men. So you see everything that everybody does, to give everyone according to his ways, right? To judge everyone accordingly, and according to the fruit of his doings, according to the the outcomes of their actions. You judge them accordingly, which has set signs and wonders in the land of Egypt, right? So you perform great signs and wonders in the land of Egypt. This is referring to when the Lord delivered us, even unto this day, right? Signs that are spoken of even until this very day, and in Israel and among other men, right? So even in Israel and in other parts of the planet, of the of the earth, the Lord is known, right, for performing these miracles and these signs and these wonders, and has made thee a name as at this day, right? So to this very day, you've made, your name known, right? You've made yourself known, right, through these judgments and through these actions, and has brought forth thy people Israel out of the land of Egypt with signs and with wonders and with a strong hand and with a stretched out arm and with great terror. And that strong hand meaning like the deliverance was mighty, right? It wasn't just like for example, we snuck out overnight. That this was the hand of God played a heavy role in this deliverance. That's where the signs and the wonders, the plagues and stuff that he hit Egypt with came in. All right. And with a stretched out arm and with great terror, right? Meaning the Lord had taken great action against Egypt in a terrible way, but to deliver us, and has given them this land, being Israel, which thou didst swear to their fathers to give them, a land flowing with milk and honey. And that means that the land is fruitful. And they came in and possessed it, but they obeyed not thy voice, neither walked in thy law. They have done nothing of all that thou commandest them to do. Therefore thou hast caused all this evil to come upon them. Behold, the mounts are going into the siege ramps that the Babylonians were currently using to try and scale the walls and break down the defenses. So Jeremiah says, behold, the mounts, they are come up, or they are come onto the city to take it. And the city is given into the hand of the Chaldeans that fight against it because of the sword and of the famine and of the pestilence. And what thou hast spoken is come to pass, and behold, thou seest it. So basically, Lord, everything you said, you're seeing it come to pass. You're seeing them break into the city. You're seeing the defenses being weakened because of the famine and the sword and the different pestilence and so on and so forth. And yet, and thou hast said unto me, O Lord, buy thee the field for money and take witnesses, for the city is given into the hand of the Chaldeans. So Jeremiah is asking, like, I don't get it. Like, everything you said about the city is happening there. It's about to be taken over. But now at this time, you're asking me to buy a field. You're asking me to buy land. Usually that's something that's done when you have assurance. It's like if a foreign country was about to invade, right? Or they were in the process of invading the country in which you're in. And then the Lord tells you, go buy a new house, and you're like, but wait, but I'm not even going to get to own that house. Like, this land is about to be taken over. Verse 26, then came the word of the Lord Yahweh unto Jeremiah, saying, behold, I am the Lord Yahweh, the God of all flesh. Is there anything too hard for me? Therefore, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, behold, I will give this city into the hand of the Chaldeans, and into the hand of Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, and he shall take it. And the Chaldeans that fight against this city shall come and set fire to the city, or fire on the city, and burn it with the houses upon whose roofs they have offered incense unto Baal, and poured out drink offerings unto other gods to provoke me to anger. Right? So the very same houses on the rooftops that they were offering incense unto other gods and idols and so on and so forth, yeah, those same houses are going to be destroyed. For the children of Israel and the children of Judah have only done evil before me from their youth. So from when they formed as a nation up until now, it's just been transgression after transgression after evil after evil after evil. For the children of Israel have only provoked me to anger with the work of their hands, saith the Lord, i.e. their actions, their disobedience, their idol worshiping. All they've done is just piss me off. For this city hath been to me as a provocation of mine anger and of my fury from the day that they built it, even on to this day. So the day that they came in here and they built this city, all that has been is just a way to provoke me and piss me off every single day up until today. To the point where, as it says, that I should remove it from before my face. To the point where it's come to this, where I got to bring a foreign nation to come and destroy it. Because of all the evil of the children of Israel and of the children of Judah, which they have done to provoke me to anger, they, their kings, their princes, their priests, and their prophets, and the men of Judah and the inhabitants of Jerusalem. And they have turned unto me the back and not the face, meaning they've turned their back on the Lord, which symbolizes forsaking the Lord as opposed to facing the Lord and being attentive and following the instructions of the Lord. Though I taught them, rising up early and teaching them by way of the Lord's prophets, yet they have not hearkened to receive instruction. Right? So they didn't listen. The Lord said, I'll teach you the ways to go in. They said, no, we good. But they set their abominations in the house, which is called by my name, to defile it. So even in the temple, their abominations being their idols, they set them up in there. And then they defiled it. So the Lord had to destroy it. And they built the high places of Baal, which are in the valley of the son of Hinnom, to cause their sons and their daughters to pass through the fire onto Molech. So they built altars, they built shrines, they built all these places to these different idols, and then began to perform, fire sacrifices, sacrificing their sons and their daughters, like literally burning them through fire as offerings unto Molech, which I commanded them not. I never told them to do it. Neither came it into my mind, not once did it cross my mind to tell them to go and do that they should do this abomination to cause Judah to sin. And now therefore thus saith the Lord Yahweh, the God of Israel, concerning this city, whereof ye say, it shall be delivered into the hand of the king of Babylon by the sword, and by the famine, and by the pestilence. So yeah, this very city that you've prophesied against, saying that it's going to be given up, I'm going to tell you a little bit more about it. Behold, I will gather them out of all countries, whither I have driven them in mine anger, and in my fury, and in great wrath. And I will bring them again into this place, and I will cause them to dwell safely. So the Lord is saying that, yes, I did say I would bring judgment upon it. Yes, you are witnessing that judgment. Yes, you prophesied it. But there will come a point in time that still, I'm going to gather them back and bring them back here, and they're going to be safe. And they shall be my people, and I will be their God. This wouldn't be, immediately, of course, because even till this day, this hasn't happened, right? And we know that because the Lord's saying here, when Israel went back into the land, guess what? Why do you think the Greeks came against them? Because they went right back to doing wickedness, right? So what the Lord was referring to was a time further into the future than that of Jeremiah. When we would actually have one mind, right? We would we would be in a right mind and a right spirit to serve the Lord in the land. Verse 39, and I will give them one heart and one way, right? So we would be of one mind and one purpose in serving the Lord, that they may fear me forever for the good of them and of their children after them. And this would be at the establishment, all right, in fullness of the new covenant, all right, in which we would be perfect and we would serve the Lord wholly, right, and which would be beneficial to us and our children. And I will make an everlasting covenant with them, there you go, that will not turn away, or that I will not turn away from them to do them good. So I will not stop doing good unto them, but I will put my fear in their hearts, meaning in their minds, that they shall not depart from me. So it'll be impossible for us to go off. Yea, I will rejoice over them to do them good, and I will plant them in this land assuredly with my whole heart and with my whole soul. So from the bottom of my heart, with that joy and determination and passion, I'm going to set them up and I'm going to put them back in this land. For thus saith the Lord Yahweh, like as I have brought all this great evil upon this people, so with the same vehemency and determination that I used to bring this this calamity upon them, which I said I would do and I ended up doing, so will I bring upon them all the good that I have promised them. So the same way, this good that I have said I'm going to bring onto them, I'm going to do that. Just as I said I would bring evil, and I did, I'm going to bring good. I'm saying it now, and I'm going to do it. And the fields shall be bought, and fields shall be bought in this land, whereof ye say, it is desolate without man or beast. It is given into the hand of the Chaldeans. So yeah, this very same land that you're, rightfully saying that it is given into the hands of these Babylonians, these Chaldeans. Guess what? There's going to come a time when people will be buying fields. They will be buying land. They will be dwelling in this place. Again, verse 44, men shall buy fields for money and subscribe evidences and seal them and take witnesses in the land of Benjamin and in the places about Jerusalem and in the cities of Judah and in the cities of the mountains and in the cities of the valley and in the cities of the south. For I will cause their captivity to return, saith the Lord Yahweh. So the Lord basically explained to Jeremiah why he had him buy that field, because it would symbolize a future time when, that would be commonplace again in the land. Even though now it's being destroyed, the Lord would have mercy and return Israel back into that land. And that brings us to the end of Jeremiah, the 32nd chapter. Lord willing, this is edifying to the elect. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Bahasham Recha Kodash. And until next time, Shalom.